Hey guys, so we're back with another video. This time we'll be talking about my bleach theory that I promised you guys that I was going to start. Now once this is done, we will start officially the Bleach 1000-Year Blood War Arc Core 2 on my channel, which will be starting episode 1, which is called The Last 9 Days. So we're going to do a small recap and then we're going to jump into the first episode of Core 2. Now, before we jump into all that, I wanted to create a theory that has been brewing in my mind. So it's about the rankings of the Espadas. So there's a lot of speculation that I've been having and theories. Now, you guys could correct me if I'm wrong and do your own research as follow. So it's about the fight between Aaroniero and Aaroniero versus Rukia. So Espada 9, he managed to reveal the actual rankings of the Espada. So when Rukia finally explained that the rankings are legit, that he's still, even though he has a multiplier that could adjust his abilities to be closer to the top 3 Espadas, that doesn't change the fact that he is number 4. It's the same goes for Yami, because Yami, even though Rukia had a second release, Yami also had a second release. From prosecuting to be even more angrier, Yami was able to transform a second time, which is his true resurrection, which is called Aaron, which is, I guess, for anger. If you guys don't believe me, you guys could go look it up when he was fighting between Captain Zoraki as well as Captain Byakuya at the Rikamundo. So going back to what I was saying, the top 3 Espadas, I think their rankings are legit, and I will explain my reasons why. Like I mentioned, it goes back to what Espada 9 was saying. Funny thing too, the rankings that we see now from the last things we saw from the second generation of Espadas, right? We could even conjust that the original Espadas, which includes Nell, which was the former third Espada, as well as some of the previous Espadas, and Daldoni, Sanji Sandwich, and Aaroniero. Those were part of the original generation of Espada. So Aaroniero shares a very interesting history because he is the first Espada that turned Pre-Verone and came back to be Espada 9. So a lot of people don't know that, but look it up. That was explained by Espada 7, which is Zamari. He explained that Aaroniero was the original Espada. So I guess he was from the old generation. So the top 3 Espadas, when we saw them at the first appearance of the Rikamundo arc, especially the fake Karakura town invasion, a lot of people were speculating who their rankings were, and we all had a speculation that the woman Haribel was going to be the replacement of Nell, which a lot of people already kind of predicted. It was the other 2 Espadas that were a anomaly to them. But even some of the captains like Shunsui and Ukitake mentioned that those top 3 Espadas, even though their rankings could be different, their power level when it comes to base, one Espada could do something better than the other. For example, Rukia had the ability to shoot gun race zeros and lightsaber lances. Nell could also do lances as well. So in a weird way, some Espada's abilities and techniques are very similar to each other. Like for an example, again, Haribel has the abilities to manipulate water by creating the gills out of her giant shark tooth sword. Aaroniero has the ability to also manipulate water because he stole that ability from Kai and Shiba, which was his Bankai, Nejibata, right? Nejibata has the ability to contort or summon water without there's no place of water. That was something that Rukia explained. So moral of the story is that each of the Espada has an ability where it could devastate not only a lance. It's like the top 3 Espada has the ability of, I would say, natural abilities, which are natural disasters. If you think about it, Stark has the ability of Ceros, which is equivalent to like nuclear bombs, right? Haribel is natural disaster when it comes to catastrophic like tidal waves, right? Whereas Bargon is the biggest out of all the top two, which is the personification of death, which he's able to kill anything and anything at his sight, so long as it's a living thing or an object that had form, right? So when we look at the aspect of death of the Espadas, you must understand that also walks in the lightness of their rankings, and how their powers are played upon. That's what I was trying to look at it, because I went back and really watched it. Stark has the ability like a nuclear bomb, and he could shoot it rapidly, right? And it creates catastrophic damage. Bargon has the ability to rot anything, even Kidos, right? So it looks like certain Espadas, certain abilities will not work on some of the top 3 Espadas. And Haribel, which is kind of crazy because Haribel was the last person standing, and that a lot of people was like, oh, she's weak, she doesn't deserve her. Well, if Taito Kubo had a hand to make her more appealing, a lot of people would have liked her more. I believe Haribel, after the time skip and fighting with one of the strongest Quincy, which is the Quincy King himself, it was no fake duality. The Rikamundo King, Yuhabak actually fought with Haribel, which if they would have put a better script or if they really would have flushed it out, we would have saw more of her abilities. And it seems like her water manipulation are mostly like similar to Nejibata's, which is water manipulation, but it used a lot of reishi, so it caused a lot of destruction. We could even tie that back into one of the Squad Zero members, which his blood healing technique, right? Kenjiro has the ability to either use that ability for either destruction or healing. So it's similar to even Minazuki, right? Unohana's Bankai. The acidic could either heal or it could cause destruction. So I think Haribel's ability is similar to that. So even furthermore of the story is that Aaroniero mentioned that in order for some Espadas to gain more power, they had to evolve to obtain more of the darkness in order for them to perform better. We even saw that example when he took Rukia inside in order to fight with her, instead of actually being outside of the fake sun, right? So I think some Espadas were not suitable to be outside of Rikamundo. So I think they're more comfortable in their environment to fight better. When he released it, it was inside, because I think if he were to go outside, it would have caused him damage, or it would have caused them to be weaker. It's similar to what Ukiura said too. Ukiura had to break the top of the canopy of Los Noches in order for him to even go resurrection. For one, due to the ranking that he has, and two, his resurrection has to be somewhere where his ability has to work better, I think. That is just a theory, so you guys could always go check out what I'm saying, because if Ukiura was so strong as they say it is, how come Yami also had a second release? Yami had 2 releases, as well as Ukiura has 2 releases. They're the only two Espadas that has two releases: Espada 0 and 10 and Espada 4. So I'm not sure if it's considered a multiplier, or would it be considered as, okay, those are hidden things that they do based on their aspect of death, right? Because I think the aspect of death is when their ranking actually show their true colors. I think it goes to show that I think Haribel gained more strength by the aspect of death that each of the Espadas are holding. The reason why I say this is their aspect of death plays with their rankings. If we were to look at it, we would say that Bargun's aspect of death, which is death, is absolute, and it took his own power to bring him down, right? Because he even find a way to even rock Kido. And I think looking at the time skip of the 1,000-year Blood War arc, Haribel have gained immense strength to be the ruler of Rikamundo. If I were to pick now, the version of Haribel that versus Yuhabak, I think is more equivalent to Bargun's strength level, which is ranking Espada 2. She would be around Espada 2, so closer to Stark, because I think Stark is still on a completely different level, because I think Stark was able to started displaying even more techniques than just Ceros, right? And I think Kubo had something where he could have expanded more on, because if you look at the top 4 Quincy's, they're very similar to the top 3 Espadas, where he had more time to flush those characters out. And if he wants to do it better in the Hell arc, if he were to bring the Espadas back, I think they would need to give Haribel or the remaining Espadas more time to develop, to show what they actually could do. Because I think Haribel don't just shoot water. I think there's so much more she could do, or more abilities she could do besides more water manipulate. Because I think it's very rare to see a villain has a water manipulation and they can't use it for offense or defense. Because if we look at Kisame from Naruto, he's able to do so many things from just having his water style techniques. So guys, let me know what you guys think. Is that you guys could do more research and let me know if what I say is correct. And like I said, this is just a theory, but let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.